You know that uncomfortable feeling you get when you have to pee really bad and don't think you can hold it much longer? If you want to prevent an accident from happening, strengthening your pelvic floor muscles, which run horizontally between your sit bones, the ones at the bottom of each butt cheek, and vertically between your pubic bone and tailbone, is crucial. After all, your pelvic muscles support your bladder, bowel, and uterus. Pregnancy, childbirth, and age can cause your pelvic floor muscles to weaken, which can lead to incontinence and painful sex. Your pelvic muscles also play an important role in sexual function, namely in achieving orgasm. Why pelvic floor exercises matter. If your pelvic floor muscles are too weak, or on the flip side, if they're too tight, there's a greater chance you'll experience painful intercourse and inability to orgasm, explains Carly Tracy, a Los Angeles-based yoga teacher. Orgasm is a response of muscular contractions, and the stronger and more flexible a muscle is, the more likely it'll be to fire or contract, Tracy says. A weak pelvic floor can also lead to stress incontinence, leaking urination when coughing, sneezing, or laughing, urinary urge incontinence, having strong, frequent urges to urinate, or fecal incontinence. 1. Kegels. To do Kegels properly, Tracy says to think beyond stopping the flow of urine. That action doesn't engage all of the muscles of the pelvic floor, which is necessary in order to strengthen them, she says. Starting in Supta while performing Kegels makes the pelvic floor muscles more pliable by stretching the inner thighs. How to do Kegels, lie on your back on a yoga mat and bring the soles of your feet together. Place support under your outer thighs, such as yoga blocks or rolled up hand towels. Relax here for 3 to 5 deep breaths. Then, visualize the muscles of your pelvic floor. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, draw the muscles between your sit bones together, as if they were two elevator doors closing to meet in the middle. Once the doors are seated breathing. It may sound simple, but finding a comfortable seat and breathing deeply into your side ribs can encourage the diaphragm and pelvic floor muscles to stretch, Tracy says. How to do seated breathing. As you inhale, visualize the gills of a fish and how they expand out to the sides as they draw their breath in. When you do this, the 3. Side lunges. A side lunge opens the inner thighs, which helps lengthen the pelvic floor. How to do side lunges. Stand with your feet about a leg's length apart. Maintaining the connection of both heels to the floor, bend into one knee. Bring your hands to the ground or to yoga blocks. Keep the other leg straight and 4. Hamstring stretch. Have tight glutes. This stretch opens up the entire back of the leg from the heel of the foot to the bottom of the butt, helping to stretch the deep pelvic floor muscles as a result. How to do a hamstring stretch. Get into all fours with your hips in line with your knees, and your hands flat on 2 yoga blocks at your sides. Extend one leg straight out in front of you, and then flex your foot. Keep your back. 5. Supported pigeon. This restorative yoga pose will stretch and lengthen the outer hip muscles that surround the pelvis, Tracy says. Place a yoga bolster or a folded blanket perpendicular to a yoga mat. How to do supported pigeon. Place the front leg shin just in front of the bolster. The back leg extends straight back from the hip with the inner thigh rolling up toward the ceiling. Fold over your front leg as deeply as your body will comfortably allow, making sure you can relax and soften here. If this is too much of a stretch, prop your 6. Glute bridges. Bridge pose in yoga helps to strengthen your glutes while activating the pelvic muscles and opening the chest, helping you to breathe in more fully. How to do glute bridge. Lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, and your hands by your sides with your palms facing down. Squeezing your glutes and pelvic muscles, press your hips up toward the ceiling, lifting your butt off. 7. Bird dog. This balance exercise forces you to recruit your core, which includes your pelvic floor, to keep your body stable. How to do bird dog. Get into tabletop position with your shoulders directly over your wrists and your hips aligned with your knees. Engaging your abs and pelvic muscles, extend your right arm forward and lift your left leg behind you, keeping your left foot flexed. 8. Pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilt. Strengthen the muscles of the core and lower back, increasing hip mobility and helping to relieve low back pain during pregnancy and labor. Adding a stability ball into the mix helps reach deeper into your abs and targets your pelvic floor muscles. How to do a pelvic tilt. Starting on a stability ball, sit with a tall spine and both feet flat on the floor. Taken in 9. Pelvic tilt. Pelvic tilt. Strengthen the muscles of the core and lower back, increasing hip mobility and helping to relieve low back pain during pregnancy and labor. Adding a stability ball into the mix helps reach deeper into your abs and targets your pelvic floor muscles. How to do a pelvic tilt. Starting on a stability ball, sit with a tall spine and both feet flat on the floor. Take 9. Deep squat. In addition to strengthening the glutes, core, quads, and hamstrings, squats also give the pelvic floor a boost, especially when paired with Kegels and specific breathing techniques. How to do a deep squat. Stand with your feet a little wider than hips width apart and toes pointing forward or slightly outwards. Bend your knees and lower to a squat.